for a guide to the Bodhisattva's way of life today and this week. In our review class, Venerable Gyelse is going through all of the information that we need to help us to continue to prepare in our ACI studies. We hope that everyone's doing well and that you're having a wonderful time attending classes and getting involved in your study groups to review your homeworks. As always, if you have any questions, please do put them into the chat or reach out to one of your classmates. Or if you have a specific question for Venerable Gyelse, put that into the chat and one of our moderators will help connect her with you. We hope everyone is doing really, really wonderfully today. And as a reminder, please turn on your cameras so that Venerable Gyelse can see you all and engage more easily in class. It can be very challenging to teach without seeing all of your lovely faces. So as always, we hope that everyone is having a wonderful morning, afternoon, or evening, whatever time zone you're in. And we look forward to having a fantastic next review class with Venerable Gyelse. So let's please look forward to everything that she has to offer us and feel so happy that we get this direct teaching from her in a live class. It's such a blessing. Thank you so much, Venerable Gyelse.
Thank you, Sarah. And welcome, everybody. Change my view to gallery again so I can see everybody. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, wherever you happen to be in the world. I am searching for Nomvu. Where is she? Because I like to watch the Vietnamese. There she is. Is your camera working today? So I can watch you translating? No, it's not. Okay. I will watch. Okay, who's the next best? Who's Chinese interpreter today? Sharon, great. I will watch you. Thank you so much. And thank you to all of the interpreters as well. You know, it's hard when you talk in your own language to sometimes slow down enough so that the interpreters can interpret for us. And I know even in listening to people like on the radio or something, in English, sometimes they even speak too fast for me to understand. It's like, did they speed up the speed on this recording or something? So I will try hard. I think I will pin Sharon for myself so I can keep an eye on her. All righty. So the first thing I want to do today is just celebrate and rejoice how far we have gotten, right? We are on class 9, and you guys are just hanging in there and coming back, doing your homeworks and your quizzes. I just want to rejoice in you, and I hope you can rejoice in yourselves and each other. And then I wanted to tell you about, let's see, where's the share button? Here it is. So the first thing I wanted to share with you is that at the same time that the retreat is going on in Mexico, there is a simultaneous retreat in Malaysia. So that people on the other side of the world from where I live can come to a retreat that's closer to them and maybe even easier to get to, because sometimes it's hard to get visas, but not so hard for Mexico as the US. So this is it in Chinese. Here it is in English. Those are the only two languages it's going to be in, are Chinese and language and English. So if you are an English speaker from another country and would like to come, you're welcome to apply. They still have some more places. And here is the QR code. So next Monday night or Tuesday morning, early Tuesday, I will be flying to Malaysia, to Kuala Lumpur, to teach with Hector Marcel. We're going to be teaching ACI 3 as well as Geshe teaching us from Mexico City. So it should be a very exciting program. And at the end of the program, there are 3 retreat days. So it's a really cool program. So if you can't make it to Mexico and you would like to come in person, here is another option. So we will have simultaneous courses, retreats going on in 2 different parts of the world. Cool? Cool. Okay. So back to ACI 17. We are reviewing ACI 10. And of course, we only have these last 2 classes to review it. And does anybody have any idea what this is a picture of? The Bodhisattva, yep. Bodhisattva Charya Avatara. And in English, that is the guide to the Bodhisattva's way of life. It is an old manuscript. It is what we call a pecha. And it's got these beautiful drawings here. Where's my, come on, I'll do it down here of Lord Buddha. And that kind of looks like maybe Tara there. I can't read the writing unless I blow it up. And then we also get woodcut prints of Master Shantideva. So Master Shantideva's classic, The Guide to the Bodhisattva's Way of Life, it isn't part of the great texts which are studied in the Geshe course. Right? In the monastery, they do not study this book. And as you may or may not know, Geshe has designed the ACI courses, all 18 of the foundation courses, on the Geshe course that students study in the monastery. What is a Geshe? A Geshe is like a doctorate. I'm just going to see, this is what I need to do. I'm just moving things around on my computer. So a Geshe is like a doctorate of philosophy. So, and then when you go into the Diamond Way, that's like your master's. So this is a study, this is what the contents of all of the ACI courses are, and they do not study the Guide to a Bodhisattva's Way of Life. But it answers a lot of big questions concerning why we spend our lives or how we spend our lives only to get old and die. And what can we actually do every day to slow or change that process? That's the promise of it. We might think, that we're here because we want life to be easier. We're looking for things to make us happier. At the bottom of it all, though, we're all going to die. We're on that escalator. It's the down escalator. And as one of my other teachers, Lama Zopa, once said, you're running up the down escalator. It's not an easy thing to do if you ever did it when you were a teenager, which I did. Because it's going down faster than you can go up. During the 2 hours, hour and a half that we're here together, during the hours you spend at the gym working out and getting fit, during the hours you go shopping for food to keep you healthy, you're actually getting older and closer to death. Here we are trying to get healthier and lengthen our lives, but at the same time, while we're doing it, our life is getting shorter. We're using up our karma, our good karma. So Master Shantideva answers the question that Shariputra asked in the Heart Sutra. How do you live? What are we supposed to do? How do you live when you have the motivation to change the causes that create death? And that's what a bodhisattva does. And Master Shantideva tells us about the way of life of a bodhisattva. So the root text is known as Chunjuk, which basically means learning how to act. And it's short for, Roxana, can you read for us, please?
Sorry, I wasn't able to unmute before. It is Jangchup Senpei Chopa La Jukpa.
Thank you. Can you translate for us too?
So Jangchup Senpa is Bodhisattva. The apostrophe I is the genitive, like of. Then Chopa is the activities. And then Jukpa is engaging in the activities of a Bodhisattva.
Thank you. So this is how a bodhisattva warrior acts, right? Learning to act like a bodhisattva. And as Roxana said at the very beginning, when I asked about the Pecha text, it's called Bodhisattva Charya Avatara in Sanskrit. And it was written by Master Shantideva, and remember, he was from India. So his name is Sanskrit, and his name is Lopan Shiwala. Lopan is a master. Shiva means peace, and Hla is an angel. So his name means the master angel of peace. Pretty cool name, huh? It's what every one of us wants to be. He studied and lived in an Ananda monastery, and he pretty much kept to himself in the monastery. He had his own little cottage and stayed there. And he got the name in the monastery of Busuku, or Dushe Sumbawa, Mr. Three Thoughts. He kept his spiritual qualities really quiet. He kept to himself, so people thought he was lazy. They called him Mr. Three Thoughts. They thought all he thought about was eating, sleeping, and pooping. And so behind his back, they called him Mr. Three Thoughts. Nalanda was one of the greatest monasteries of its time, and even in history. It was huge. It served a lot of monks, mainly, right? To pass on and to be able to study and concentrate on these teachings. And it had a really high reputation. And because of that high reputation, many of the monks were embarrassed by Master Shantideva, by Dushe Sumbawa. Just like ACI would be embarrassed if the people who worked for them or studied with them stole something or mistreated somebody, right? So they decided to call him out. They decided to embarrass him. And during one of the gathering times of the monks, they asked him to recite a sutra from memory because they did not think he would be able to do it at all, right? And this is something that they do fairly regularly, is they ask someone to please come and recite a sutra and give a teaching on it. So they asked him several times. He said no. And they thought, oh, because he doesn't know anything, right? He doesn't know anything. He won't be able to do it. But eventually he agreed. And there was this huge meeting hall where they prepared a throne, which was 4 meters high. And you and I would need a ladder to get up there, right? Or some steps or something. But they didn't provide one for him. They really wanted to embarrass him and make it impossible for him to get up there and teach. So you probably know this story, but I'll tell it to you anyway. Master Shantideva came in, and there were thousands of monks in the monastery, and they all start to laugh under their robes. And he does his prostrations, and everyone is watching him. And then he goes up to the throne and just touches it. And suddenly he's up on the very top sitting. Folks are amazed. And, they're all stunned. And in that atmosphere, he makes an announcement. Do you want me to recite something you've heard before or something new? He asks them. And of course, they think he doesn't know anything. So they choose the new thing. And then he begins to recite poetry. And that poetry is what we call the guide to the Bodhisattva's way of life. It has 9 chapters. And by the 9th chapter, which is about emptiness, he starts to rise off the throne. And the monks are listening. They're straining to listen, to understand what he's saying. What is he saying about emptiness? Because now they understand his capacity and they want to learn from him. And so he rises higher and higher off the throne. He's flying off and they're struggling to hear him. And then he's gone. And the monks are just sitting there absolutely amazed. Now, at that time, there were some monks who were like wordsmith, who have total recall. And they got together and they wrote down what they remembered of the Bodhicharya avatar. They felt it was the least that they could do because they had treated him so unkindly. They then sent out search parties to try and find him because they felt so bad about what they had done. And they wanted him to come back and to teach them. They did finally find him in South India. And he was just sitting there meditating. They apologized for calling him Mr. Three Thoughts. They apologized for mistreating him. But they couldn't convince him to come back. But he did agree to give more instruction on his text and also on 2 other texts that he had written. He also told them he had left these books that he had written in the rafters of his old room in Nalanda. And that's how the teachings come down to us. So the purpose of studying his life is for us, one of the important aspects of it is that he practiced privately. And this is a message that is being passed down to us. Nobody knew his attainments. Nobody knew he was a bodhisattva. Okay? And this isn't the way it should be for us. We look normal on the outside, but we're doing something different on the inside. We each need to become enlightened ourselves, right? We need to perfect this path for ourselves. Where we do this is with our families, in the office, with our friends, on the roads, everywhere we are. The cafe where you hang out. That's where we practice this path. As it exists in our life, as it exists now, right? Private, interior, and maybe even secret, like Master Shantideva. So the changes happen on the inside. It's very possible that there will be some exterior changes as well as you follow this path. They are kind of like a extra bit, just a result of what's going on the inside. So what are the benefits? That is what the first chapter is about. What are the benefits of the wish for enlightenment? So chapter 1 is getting you excited about being a bodhisattva and having bodhicitta, which means to be a spiritual warrior and fight against the negative thoughts in your own mind. Chapter 2 is purifying bad deeds. And that's pretty obvious. It's the process which you do in your mind to become a bodhisattva. You clean your mind up. You clean it of its negative propensities, like criticizing others, judging others, jealousy, desire for things, not understanding where things come from, right? All the bad deeds that we do because of our misunderstanding. Chapter 3, getting the wish for enlightenment. Right? This includes developing a state of mind of the bodhisattva, also the ceremony to commit yourself to becoming a bodhisattva. So we talk about having the wish to be a bodhisattva, just wanting that. I'd like to be able to do that. And then acting and committing to act as a bodhisattva. And in this chapter, there are many techniques for collecting good seeds. Chapter 4 is learning how to be careful. So once you learn to think and act like a bodhisattva, you have to take care of this very fragile new state of mind. Chapter 5. Chapter 5 is guarding your awareness and recollection. So what that means is just like in meditation, you're setting up a watchful state of mind that keeps you on track. Oops, I wasn't quite telling the truth there. Let's get more honest, right? Chapter 6 is not getting angry. This is that third perfection called patience, but it's really about not getting angry when we feel justified to be angry. They said that to me, so they made me angry, right? Or the person cut me off on the freeway. We feel perfectly justified because we forget where things are coming from. Chapter 7 is doing things with joy, doing good things with joy. So having a good time doing good deeds, like hanging out here together, enjoying it, having a good time. And then chapter 8 is all about meditation. Meditation is the platform, the foundation for seeing emptiness directly. Of course, you need the content, right? You need all of the pieces, all of the ingredients. And then you use them when you meditate. And you create a strong foundation or platform for seeing emptiness directly. Like we talked about a strong foundation last week. And I think it was in this class. Maybe it's another class I'm preparing. Anyway, I think it is. The strong foundation of our vows, right? Help us to have a solid, even meditation. Thank you, Persis. I'm doing 2 classes at once, and sometimes they mix together. They're not separate. And I kind of think of it as, if you're building a foundation for a house, you're using concrete or brick, you have, like for brick, you have to have the clay, you have to have the sand, it has to be baked, and then it has to be put together before you have a foundation. And our meditation is like that as well. And then we have chapter 9, which is about emptiness, right? The chapter that he was speaking as he rose up off of his cushion and out of the opening in the center of the monastery hall and went higher and higher and higher. And then I forgot there are 10 chapters. There, of course, is the chapter on dedication, which is a beautiful, beautiful chapter. And Master Shantideva is dedicating everything that he has thought about, that he has done, to every being that he can think of. And so you take the outcome of what you did in learning this and dedicate it not only to your own enlightenment, but to the end of suffering for every living being. I don't know if you noticed or not, This is a book which covers the 6 perfections. Giving in chapter 10, the chapter on dedication, giving away your goodness. Morality, chapter 5, guarding awareness. Not getting angry, chapter 6. Chapter 7 is joyous effort. And chapter 8 is concentration. And of course, we have said that chapter 9 is wisdom. All of these put together are really about emptiness. This is a book about emptiness and understanding emptiness through the 6 perfections. So, chapter 1, the benefits of the wish. And Master Shantideva uses 5 metaphors. The first one, let's see who's here. I can ask to read. I don't know who speaks English and who doesn't. Irina Kagordova, do you speak English? Can you read it? No? Okay, thank you. Christina Taptoge Langer, can you read it?
Yes.
Thank you.
The highest form of alchemical elixir, it transforms the filthy body you have taken to the holy form of a victorious one, of immeasurable value, beyond all value.
Thank you. So what this is saying, I go back and watch the interpreter, watch Sharon. What this is saying is the wish is like an alchemical
Okay, it happens. Gyelse is kind of lost her internet probably. So don't worry. I hope she will be back soon. And for now, it's interesting how many of us have finished ACI course 10? Could you please put emoji in the chat? Those who have finished already ACI 10, this topic. Would you like to put any heart, for example, in the chat? Something? Yay. Great, so many people. Wow. Wow, so for you, it's really review. That's wonderful. Amazing. Somebody is not yet. Okay. That's cool. Thank you. So you are an expert. Yeah, probably. Okay, and these two classes, class 9 and class 10, are about ACI course 10. And we will be reviewing this course. And I'm just wondering, and how many people who's here who never take, even no listening, never studied Bodhisattva Charyavatara or ACI course 10 or 11, 12, something. Who is just meet this text first time? Could you please put some, for example, thumb up? Oh yeah, or maybe this one. Yay, Barbara. Great. Thank you. Somebody else? Are there some people who just meet this text first time? Wow. Ti Chin Nguyen. Thank you. Yay. And Chinese name, I cannot, sorry, I'm not able to read it, but thank you. Wonderful. So there are even people who just learn it first time. That's great. Wow. Thank you. Some Chinese people. Oh, that's wonderful. And you probably, some of you probably do your homeworks, and some of you probably join study groups. For example, there are study groups in English, in Russian, and Vietnamese. If you didn't join it yet, you are very welcome to join. And the time when Gyelse is not here, I would like to tell you that we, as a students of her, might want, somebody of us might want to say thank you to her and donate something as a gratitude, to show you gratitude. And we will be posting in the chats her PayPal account, and you can transfer whatever contribution you would like to show your gratitude if you really like this course. If you don't like, you can just plant some seeds and just plant some seeds to understand it and to like it in the future. So we will post, I can post it now actually, her PayPal account, and you are very welcome to send your money to show you your gratitude. And probably this is the cause why she's not here now, to let me do it behind of her back, that she might not know that. And it could be surprise. Thank you so much for joining, and thank you for your kindness. It doesn't matter how much money you will send. You can send $1. It's totally okay. Yeah, and we can use a kindful also, and red envelope. and just her PayPal. Gina, she said it's more, yeah, she said that it's more easier for her to use PayPal. That's why. If you don't have PayPal in your country, you can use ACI Kindful. And maybe Gina could show us red envelope for those who cannot use PayPal, who don't have PayPal. Gina, would you like to show us the red envelope? And you can scan it with your phone and use it. We will do the same next class. Probably Gyelse will not disappear. And we will remind you that on Thursday. And on Thursday is going to be our last class. So the last opportunity to take this address. And also I would like to tell you, probably you know, that Gyelse, Venerable Gyelse will be teaching Mahamudra course. It takes 5 classes and it's going to start in September. Mahamudra course. It's going to be also Tuesday and Thursday, and you can sign up in the platform, ACI platform. So I hope Venerable Gyelse is already here. Yay, thank you for coming back. Please unmute yourself.
It was a little
Gyelse.
bit of an effort, I must say, as I was not on the internet, and I'm still not on the internet, but I'm using my phone. So we'll see how long that works. And I had to change the position in my house so my phone had a strong signal. So you get to see a little bit of my house. Okay, where were we? We were talking about the benefits in 5 metaphors. And the first one is the wish is like a special drink, right? What we call an alchemical elixir, which changes our body because our minds change. It changes this impure body that gets old, that falls apart, that gets sick, that gets disease, you have to keep feeding it as well into a body of pure light, the body of an enlightened being, right? So that's the first metaphor. It's like an alchemical elixir. The second metaphor is, let's see. Marcus, would you read for us, please?
Sure.
Thank you.
Those who seek to be free of the state of living beings should keep well and firm this precious jewel, the wish for enlightenment. For that single captain of living kind has searched at length with a state of mind beyond all limit and found it to be of great value.
Thank you. So this wish is like a precious jewel, right? A precious jewel which is difficult to find, but is able to clear away the poverty of every living being. And number 3 Rosa, would you read, please? Thank you.
All other good deeds are like the plantain, like a plantain tree that gives its fruits and always dies away. The wish for enlightenment though is an evergreen that never dies by giving its fruits, but rather ever increases.
Thank you. So the metaphor here is that the wish for enlightenment, right, is like an evergreen tree which doesn't die after bearing fruit a single time that it keeps bearing fruit. It continues to grow and give more fruit year by year. And then number 4, Barbara Acevedo, please. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Venerable. A person may have committed deeds that are dreadful in the extreme, and yet anyone who relies on this can be freed from all of them in an instant, as though they relied on a warrior to save them from some horrible fear. Why then would those who live with care not choose to rely upon this very wish?
Thank
Thank
you.
you, Venerable.
So the 4th metaphor is the wish is like a great warrior who's able to protect us from great fear and danger. So these are the benefits in 4 metaphors. You might be asked for those on your homework. And then there's one last one. Can I get a volunteer so I don't need to scroll through everybody's picture looking?
It burns with certainty in an instant, even the greatest of bad deeds, as if it were the fire that comes at the end of time. Thank you.
Thank you, Vivi. So it's like the fire which comes at the end of an eon, right? Eon is, I don't remember what the exact figures are, but it's a large, large amount of time. And it's able to burn away all of our bad deeds without any difficulty at all, right? So nothing less than this wish for enlightenment can transform us and the world that appears to us. The wish is to devote yourself unselfishly to everyone's complete happiness and perfection. And by doing that, it propels us like a rocket to our own enlightenment. So the first chapter of the guide is a sales pitch. It's saying you will not feel whole until you love other people as much as you love yourself. And it sells you on that. And it says that that is a totally liberating experience. How do we do that? We have to create vast amounts of good seeds, right? So the highest objects for doing that with are the 3 jewels, the practice of offering. And this is what the second chapter focuses on. It's all about Dikpak Chakpa. It's all about purifying bad deeds. But first, there are things we have to do before we can even purify old deeds. We need to have enough good karma to even have purification work for us. We need a certain state of mind to do purification. And we need to start developing that state of mind. We wouldn't think about doing any kind of purification if we didn't have any inclination, any leaning towards aiming for goodness, right? So that doesn't mean that we reach some goodness of the heart stage before we can get rid of old bad karma. It means we need to develop a mind that is willing to fight itself to stop creating negativity in favor of thinking of others. So we need to create some positive momentum in order to really begin to dig out old bad karmic patterns that we have stored in our minds. So the 3 highest objects are the Konchoksum, the 3 jewels. And how do we do that? The first is Chakselwa, or Chaksel. We prostrate. This word means hand, to look for something. It means the teacher, the Lama, has something in his or her hand. And when you prostrate, you're asking for that thing. Do you need to physically prostrate? No. Although sometimes it can be good if you have a lot of pride. You can also mentally prostrate. And we do that in our preliminaries to meditation. Right? We think of something good that somebody has that we would like them to share and teach us about, that we would be like them. And doing this is an act of faith to say, nothing that I have found so far in this world works 100% of the time to create and sustain happiness. So I'm going to try this path. I'm going to try this wisdom. I have faith that it's possible to meet the 100% wisdom, and I acknowledge it. And it's one thing you get to do that will not hurt anyone else. It's not about consuming things. It's not about getting this or that. It's an act of faith in your own goodness. And that plants huge seeds. The main Buddha jewel is the Dharmakaya, the emptiness of an enlightened being. The historical Buddha is the nominal Buddha jewel. The books and the teachings are the nominal Dharma jewel. The actual Dharma jewel is the direct perception of emptiness and the permanent cessation of spiritual obstacles which come after the direct perception of emptiness. And then the Sangha jewel nominally is the community of monks and nuns. The real Sangha is everyone who has perceived emptiness directly. That is the ultimate Sangha. So when you take refuge in the three jewels, you are really taking refuge in emptiness. You understand emptiness is the only real protection. It's the only real protection against death and its causes. Teachers and guides can protect you and take care of you only by teaching you how things work. And through that, you can change the causes yourself. How does that work? When we stop reacting to negative events and people because we realize that our reactions will create negative seeds in our minds, which will force us to see the same thing later on in our life, over and over and over again. So remember that chapter 2 is about purifying bad deeds. So we use something called the four forces, but why should we purify ourselves with the four forces? Remember that first we have to collect some goodness so the purification will work. So the first thing we do is prostrations. Then we make offerings. To whom and why, it talks about that. Talks about refuge and then purification. So the four forces, the way Master Shantideva explains them, is first we think about, it's different than we normally learn. First we think about regret, the force of destruction. We understand what it is going to produce, what our actions, our negative actions produce. And then secondly is refuge, the force of foundation, remembering emptiness. And then he says the third of the four is the antidote. And there are 6 different kinds. And then the fourth power is the force of restraining from doing bad deeds for a sensible amount of time. So these are in slightly different order than we usually get them. Usually it's the foundation first, and then the regret, and then thinking about how we can restrain ourselves, and then the antidote. So he presents them slightly differently in a different line. So why should we purify ourselves with the four forces? 1, we don't understand what's right or wrong very well. We don't understand karma and its consequences. Therefore, we must purify the bad deeds we do, even though we may not be aware that we did anything non-virtuous. The second is, what little we do understand, we can't follow because we're stubborn, we have bad habits. It's really hard for us to follow it. So we constantly collect new and powerful seeds. This first word here, chungse, means like little bit, little by little, little by little, little by little, right? And even if we understand karma a little, we can't control ourselves to do the right thing. We're unable to apply what we do know very well. We're unable to benefit ourselves and avoid what hurts us. So we're constantly collecting bad seeds at a very rapid rate. And so we need to seriously apply purification. And we need to do it consistently to overcome our negative actions, thoughts, and speech. And if you do it, the purification overcomes the bad deeds, and the things will improve in your life in a noticeable way. Number 3. Jangsan Kewe Gekjong Pe. We have to remove the obstacles to reaching the true wish for enlightenment. So purification clears away the obstacles to teaching the state of mind where you can love others as much as you love yourself. So that is the importance and the benefits of purification. And now that we know how to get rid of old stuff, then we need to start collecting new good seeds. And there are 5 practices for collecting positive energy needed to gain bodhicitta. They are rejoicing, asking holy beings to teach the Dharma, asking holy beings to stay, dedication, and surrender. So rejoicing in virtue and goodness. We use this to get to a higher realm, and that higher realm is called first level rejoicing. It mostly avoids the 10 non-virtues, the 10 negative deeds. And the other part of it is being happy about what you and others are doing that is good. The things that will get you and others out of nirvana. And this mainly involves doing things to permanently remove your negative thoughts. Which, of course, the most powerful thing to do that is seeing emptiness directly. And then the third part about rejoicing in virtue is being happy about the things done by yourself and others to become fully enlightened. Number 2 is to get out of nirvana. Number 3 is to become fully enlightened. What is the opposite of rejoicing? It's jealousy. Jealousy, which is a kind of anger or unhappiness, that someone else has gotten some kind of happiness that you don't have, or maybe you have it and you don't want them to have it. It could also be a good personal quality. Jealousy is extremely improper for bodhisattvas who are working so that every living being can have every kind of happiness. It's like the opposite of it, right? And then there are 4 kinds of dedication. Number 4 of the 5 practices that we mentioned a few slides ago is to collect positive energy by doing dedication. And the first kind is general dedication, which is like saying, may all beings become enlightened by the meditation I just did, or may all beings become enlightened by my leaving the last donut for somebody else, right? Those are general dedications. And then there's dedicating virtue to help sick people. And then there's dedicating virtue to help hungry and thirsty people. Like I'm thirsty right now. So if I had my water here, I could take a drink and dedicate it to no one else ever having to experience thirst. And then number 4, dedicating virtue so that all beings can get anything they want. So what are we dedicating? We're, of course, dedicating the virtuous things that we have done or said. And we could say from offering up everything to requesting holy beings to stay and teach us forever and ever, not to enter into nirvana. That's what we're dedicating. What are we wishing for when we dedicate? I'm going to go back for a minute here. We're wishing for that we ourselves could become enlightened through our virtue, through our goodness, so that we can become the doctor, we can become the medicine, we can become the vaccine, the cure for those who are sick. We can become the food and the drink that they need. We can become everything, anything that all beings wish for in a temporary and an ultimate sense. So that's what we're wishing for. And with that, let's dedicate what we have done here today to the happiness and freedom from suffering for all beings. So let's take a moment to do that. And if you have specific people in your life, you can also dedicate it to their well-being and health. And with that, here's your meditation. Practice imagining the moment in the future when you yourself experience directly the ultimate wish for enlightenment, bodhicitta. Geshe says it's a physical sensation of a shaft of clear light coming out of your chest, going out and reaching every living being to help them. And knowing that's what you're going to spend the rest of your life doing, serving others, especially in the highest ways, in learning, using, and teaching the Dharma. So that's our first step into the path of the Bodhisattva. And Thursday, we'll have another one. So I'm sorry that my internet wasn't working very well today. It sometimes happens out here. I guess it happens in cities too, but I think in rural areas, it happens more often. We had our electricity go down the other day too. So thank you for being here and hanging in there with us. And see you on Thursday. Thank you to the interpreters, to everybody recording, to all of the tech, everyone who makes this happen. I just teach. I don't know what goes on in the background. Thank you to all of you who helped this to happen. And thank you to the students, all of you, who believe in this stuff and are making the world a better place. Are there any questions? We've got a few minutes here. All right. If not, see you on Thursday. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Venerable Gyelse.
Thank you, teacher.
Thank you
This
so much.
Благодарю.
Thank you.
Thank you, dear teacher. Please stay.
Благодарю, досточтимая Гьелси, за мудрость,
Наташенька, за перевод благодарю. И всех-всех благодарю.
Eu sou uma teacher.